welcome all you guys to Cleansing and Detox. I'm really excited about this class because I think it is vital in our health. And I have been really researching some things that can help us to have healthier bodies, and cleansing is one of those. So basically in today's class, what I want to encourage you is that by cleansing, what that can do is it can actually help your body to heal itself, to work for the good of what it can do when it's cleansed or when you're eating good things and putting good nutrients in there. So I just posted recently on Facebook that the opposite of detoxification is intoxication, and that doesn't necessarily just mean alcohol, but alcohol does give us a good example of how the body works to detox. If you drink alcohol, you may not know, but your lungs actually are part of the detoxification when that happens, and because the liver has to break that alcohol down. And then whenever you have ever smelled someone's breath and you know that they've been drinking, their body is detoxing that alcohol through a chemical that the liver changes that to, called acetaldehyde. And so the lungs are part of our detoxification system. The skin is. When we sweat, toxins are released in our body. When we're using the bathroom, our digestive system is working to get toxins out of our body. We see that in full force when something happens and maybe we get food poisoning or something like that, and all of a sudden the body is just trying to empty as fast as it can to get that out. And that's actually, that's saving our lives. That's getting that out that could be really harmful to our body. The kidneys, they secrete toxins and filter toxins out of the blood into the urine. And then our liver, that is our main area of detoxification. It works like a factory. It filters and it changes so that it can remove the toxins in a way that's beneficial to the body. So we're going to kind of break that down as we go along today. And before we jump right in to Young Living products, when I researched, there were some tips I came along that we can just be doing in our everyday life to help us to be detoxing, to help our bodies in removing those toxins. So the first is you want to be drinking water, okay? You want to be drinking half your body weight in ounces every single day. The reason is because when the body is dehydrated, it cannot detox properly. And also when we're dehydrated, that's actually the #1 cause of headaches for people. So make sure you're getting your water, because you can't lose your fat, can't lose weight. When you're dehydrated, the water is going to help pull the toxins out of the cells. It's going to help improve your digestion, help you continue to have a bowel movement every day, help cleanse your kidneys. It's great for your skin. So I'm just going to encourage you to drink your water, and stay away from sodas and things like that, because they are going to be more dehydrating. And if you get tired of water, like I do sometimes, then look into your vitality oils and see what you can add that's going to give you some boost in wanting to drink more. We have our citrus oils there. We have peppermint that you can add, which is going to help enhance and help your digestion. So do what you can, add to your water those vitality oils, and I think you'll see that you can drink even a lot more of that during the day. Another thing that I always do in the mornings that is incredible for just everyday detox is apple cider vinegar. It only takes about 2 to 3 teaspoons in a cup of water, and it's not the greatest taste at first, but it's one of those acquired things that you kind of get used to because you feel so much better when you do it. What it's going to do when you drink that apple cider vinegar, it's going to kickstart those digestive juices to help with the bowel movement. It's going to help your liver detox enzymes, which we're going to get into later, how great that is. It's going to help your liver to stimulate bile, which is a carrier of toxins, and bile also carries out cholesterol from the body. So you are doing your body a favor when you jumpstart that. And something like the apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, you can do that in your water in the mornings. The next thing, and I wanted to tell you about that I was reading a lot about, is turmeric. Turmeric can be added to your smoothies. It can be added to your soups. It is very good for the liver, incredible for detoxing. And sometimes I do searches. I'll go online and I'll, you know, the kids, something will happen with the kids, and I'll go and type in, what is a natural remedy for whatever. You know, I'm always looking for a natural remedy for something. And I may say, okay, this herb is good. This oil is good. This something like turmeric, this is good. And I wonder, well, what does Young Living have with that in it? Okay, I'm always searching for how I can use my Young Living products, because I know that this company is doing, is top notch when it comes to their supplements. And so the other day, I wanted to show you this, if you can see, when you go into your virtual office and you're wanting to look for a product, for example, turmeric, you can search that by putting it into the search menu, and it will bring up search results for turmeric, the products that may contain that, okay? And so I found here that Young Living, you know, we don't have a turmeric oil, but we do have, course, supplements kit has some turmeric. Master Formula. Master Formula is an incredible nutrient vitamin supplement for your everyday use. Lindsay Elmore did an in-depth YouTube video on Master Formula and Ningxia Red. So we don't have time today to go through that, but I wanted to show you how you can search and find these things in our products already. And then if you have time, go out and watch Lindsay Elmore's video on the Master Formula. Another thing that is incredibly beneficial is to eat more plant-based. You need to be getting more fruits and vegetables in your diet. The cruciferous vegetables like your cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, those are really good. Kale, it's going to boost toxin fighting enzymes in your liver. Beets are also very supportive. And so get creative with your recipes. Search, you know, search what a recipe good for my liver, and you never know what can come up, something that's so tasty that's going to get more of those veggies and fruits. But sometimes when we do change our diet, we see that we get some occasional discomfort because we're not used to that extra fiber. So if that happens for you, then grab your Peppermint Vitality or your Digest Vitality and use that alongside of that, because anytime we go through the natural detox, there can be a little bit of discomfort that goes along with that during that process. But on the end of it, you will feel so much better. The next thing is that you need to stimulate your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is those nodules that you can feel like in your neck, you know, and it runs in your arms. And you can see in this picture, all those little dots are those nodules are part of the lymphatic system. It also includes the spleen, thymus gland, those lymph nodes, your liver, and tonsils. And so a sluggish lymphatic system is going to cause you know, waste and toxins to build up. And what the lymphatic system, some things you can do to jumpstart that is, you've seen those little trampolines where you rebound on those and you jump, or just walking and stretching. Every time you take a step, you're pumping your lymphatic system. So be as active as you can. And then drinking lots of water. But the reason I put the Young Living deodorant on there is because it is actually a very good and supportive of the lymphatic system. Some people were saying that when they would use the deodorant in the morning, that they would actually feel like they smelled it was pulling toxins out and they smelled worse. And so what I have started doing is put that on at nighttime, because you want it to pull toxins out of your body. And then I actually use the Young Living toothpaste, or I use the Melaleuca or Melrose oil as my deodorant during the daytime. But if you're looking for something specific for lymphatic, try that deodorant. And then the last thing is, the next to last thing before we get into the products, is your breathing. There are breathing techniques you can find that are very beneficial to detoxing. We were just talking about, you know, when you drink alcohol, how the lungs detox that. But just in general, if you take deep breaths and let them out every time you're doing that, you are detoxing. So don't add to the toxins you're breathing in your home. Get rid of the candles, get rid of the synthetic candles, get rid of the synthetic sprays in the bathrooms. Make sure you're using your diffuser so that when you're breathing in only goodness. And then also the Thieves Cleaner is, we're going to do a class soon about how to use that, but that is a very cost-effective way to get the toxic cleaners out of your home so that you're not breathing that in. We don't need extra things that the liver has to detox. So the Thieves Cleaner, really just one capful in a spray bottle like this is all you need. So it is extremely cost effective, and I've been able to clean everything with that, baking soda, vinegar. And so we'll do a class soon and go really in depth into the DIY and green cleaning. So why do I need to cleanse in general? You know, luckily my pantry doesn't look like the one on the right, but that is the standard American diet. And it's something that I've learned over the past 8 years I've taken baby steps along the way and been able to change the way it looks, okay? And so, but there's holidays, there's seasonal times that we want to do a little extra cleansing, because you know, not all of us can keep our pantry looking like this on the left either, okay? It's just a daily struggle and finding that time to pick the right foods for our body. And one thing I wanted to show you guys is that in the virtual office, when you go to place your order, you know, they have little tabs. They'll have single oils, you know, blends, all of those things. They have a tab that actually is called System Solutions. And the reason why I really love that is because everything you find under System Solutions is going to be meant for help with cleansing and detoxing. So it's a great time to get your resource books out and to look up each of those products a little more in depth. So today's class, you know, I'm not going to, I obviously in 50 minutes can't say every single thing that I've learned, you know, after my in-depth studying this. So, but this gives you an idea of the things you can go and start studying and find what is going to be valuable for you. So let's get started with talking about some products. And the first is going to be the 5-day nutritive cleanse. The reason that I really like this is a very easy cleanse. It's a great cleanse for someone who has never done a cleanse before, because you're not going to be hungry. It's just helping to reset your body, and it's helping to kind of get those cravings away from that standard American diet that we have. And so right now, or what you do with the 5-day nutritive cleanse is you're going to be drinking 3 times a day the Ningxia Red, which we know is super high in antioxidants. It helps with the energy levels, especially when you're cleansing. You can struggle with your energy, and so it keeps that, you know, it keeps you motivated and keeps you energized. Also is the Balance Complete Shake. Okay, which is actually my favorite shake, mainly because when I joined Young Living 8 years ago, this is the only shake that we had. And you do that 3 times a day as a meal replacement, along with healthy snacks throughout the day. And then the reason, I don't have my little Digest and Cleanse with me right here, but Digest and Cleanse is a capsule meant to help you with that occasional discomfort that comes from changing your diet, okay? And so it has the peppermint, the ginger, the fennel, those things that are super helpful, you know, for the digestive system. Right now it's out of stock. So what I wanted to do is give you a little substitution of, if this is something that you're wanting to do, what can I do since this kit is out of stock? Well, Ningxia is in stock. You can still order that separately. And then you could supplement with the Pure Protein Complete, or if you have read about the Sleek, the new Sleek Shake, which is for weight loss and weight management, that's another thing that you could substitute in place for the shake while Balance Complete is not in stock. I believe it'll be back very soon. But if you decide to use the Pure Protein Complete, I have heard from some that there's not as much fiber in that, and so you would want to add in, which we're going to talk about in a minute, a little extra fiber, which is what the ICP supplement is from Young Living. Just a little, maybe a teaspoon of that, just to help give a little more fullness so that you won't feel hungry. The goal is not hunger. My husband has done this cleanse with me, and or just to reset, to try to feel better, get the energy levels back up. And he always does 4 shakes instead of 3. And then instead of the Digest and Cleanse, look at those oils. If you look at the different oils that you see there, they're very similar what you would find to Digest or Digest Vitality, which is my favorite oil. So you could make your own capsule with the Digest Vitality and do that in place of the Digest and Cleanse. If you go online and you just Google 5-day nutritive cleanse PDF, you will find an exact 5-day protocol of what to take, when to take it. You can make a little grocery list for your snacks. It's just simple things like apple, and you could always substitute if that's fruit or vegetable is not available at this time of the year. But it's a good way to cleanse from those cravings that we all have. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is, if you want to go more in depth, maybe this is not your first time around, or you just finished the 5-day cleanse and you want to move into something that's even more beneficial, then that's going to be the cleansing trio. But let's just talk about why the colon cleanse is helpful. Number one, if these are things that you should be seeing that indicate you have healthy colon. Clear skin without blemishes, you're going to the bathroom every day, you're not having bad breath, you don't have any mucus or partially digested food whenever you use the bathroom. You should be eliminating your food within 18 to 24 hours of eating. And going 2 to even 3 times per day. And then you should be going effortlessly, okay? If those things are not happening, then that's where you may want to look into the cleansing trio, which we're going to talk about. The reason that waste needs to move efficiently out of your body is because when it doesn't, that can be a time that parasites can actually settle in, and we may not even see those and have them. If you really get online and read, you will see that studies say that 80% of Americans have parasites unknowingly that are harming their bodies, okay? Because they're feeding off the nutrients that should be feeding our bodies. Their waste is going into our bodies. So that's why it's you have to keep that colon, you have to keep things moving. Also, if you're not going well enough, the fecal matter can just become like a plaque, and then you're not able to absorb the nutrients because things are blocked. So we got to keep things going. So let's do that with the cleansing trio, okay? The cleansing trio comes with Comfort Time, Essential Enzyme, and ICP, okay? And I'm going to break those three things down and tell you in depth how I use those products. The first one is Comfort Tone. Now, it is part of the cleansing trio to be used, but I did want to mention that it's also something you could use if you have occasional constipation, okay? So that's one that you would want to write down for that. But our goal is 2 to 3 times a day. So if you look at there's a lot of ingredients over here, and I don't have time to go into every single one, so I'm just going to pick 2 that I want to tell you about, and it kind of helps you see how Gary Young and Young Living, they create a product for a purpose, not for a profit, for a purpose. And everything you see here is going to be beneficial to cleansing the colon. So let's start with Ocotea right here. I love Ocotea. It's a great oil in and of itself. But the story I like to tell about it is that it's actually a plant that's grown in Ecuador. And in Ecuador, it's a very moist region of the world. It rains 50% of the time. And so the plant, to survive in that musty and wet environment, has to be so strong to resist that fungus and things that would naturally occur in that type of environment. So sometimes when we know how the plant survives its the area that it is in, then that gives us a hint into how it can help our body. And what do you think about when you think about a colon? Wet and moist, and we want to make sure that things are moving along, and that Ocotea is going to be great for that area. Also, German chamomile. That helps support your parasympathetic nervous system. What does the parasympathetic nervous system do? Well, it helps to regulate your digestion, urination, and defecation. It also regulates sexual arousal. It also is like when your body gets into a fight or flight scenario. For example, like something happens and you gasp for breath, or your heart rate goes way up and your blood pressure goes up, one of those situations, that parasympathetic nervous system, that is in charge of getting your body back to normal when it comes to your blood pressure and your heart rate. And so that it's a very important part of your nervous system. But one of its teeny tiny jobs that means a lot is that it actually works on your colon. It helps that wave that pushes the food through, that wave-like contraction, which is called peristalsis. So using the Comfort Tone is going to support, with the German chamomile, is going to support that moving food through and pushing things out. The bottle says on Comfort Tone, what it says is that, sorry, I meant to write that down in my notes. This just says take up to 3 capsules before breakfast and bedtime. Now, one thing is, it also says you've got to be drinking a lot of water with this, okay? You've got to be drinking a lot of water to help with that. But I read online in some of my resource books, which I'll share with you at the end of the presentation, that you should start with 1 capsule in the morning, and then maybe do 1 in the morning, 1 at night the next day. The day after that, 2 in the morning, 1 at night. Okay, the next day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. You get the idea. You don't want to shock your system, and if that peristalsis wave has not been working properly, then you could have some discomfort where there's been stagnant areas, and so you want to ease into that. I read that you can go up to, in my cleansing book I was reading, 5, and 5 is the most that they recommended. And once you're going 2 to 3 times a day, then you would back off. You wouldn't want it to be having diarrhea. That's too much, okay? So you've got to kind of find the right balance for your body. Another thing, another great part of the cleansing trio that you would take alongside of Comfort Tone is essential enzyme. Okay, enzymes are incredibly important for our body. If you read on essential enzyme what it says, it's going to tell you that you need to take 1 capsule 3 times a day. Between meals is best, okay, because it's able to absorb more of those enzymes. But enzymes, what they do is they break down the substances we eat, okay? They're breaking down the proteins, or they're breaking down the starches, and this is going to enable the intestines to absorb even more of the nutrients. What happens is that when we eat the packaged and processed foods of today, there are no enzymes. They have all been killed out when they were cooked. Or even our vegetables and our fruits, if we're cooking them on high temperatures, all the enzymes are gone. And our body does naturally have some enzymes, but as we age, we lose our stores of those. And so it's every single person needs to be taking enzymes. For example, there are enzymes that help break down your fats. There are enzymes that help break down your milk products. And so sometimes people will say they're allergic to a certain food, but in reality, they don't have the enzyme needed to break down that food and for our body to process it properly. So if you don't have a gallbladder, I want to mention that you need to be on enzymes because your gallbladder, when your liver lets off enzymes, your gallbladder is actually where the enzymes are stored. So if you don't have a gallbladder, you do not have the enzymes specifically to break down the fat. So that's why you need to find an enzyme that is going to be beneficial to breaking down the fats. And Young Living has like 5 different enzymes. So read up on essential enzyme and see if that's the one you need. But during the colon cleanse, you need to start with Comfort Tone and essential enzyme. Once you're going to the bathroom regularly by using these products, then you would add in ICP, which is a fiber. And what ICP is just, you would add that in to a drink and stir it up. You would want to drink it quickly because it's going to puff up. It's a fiber. And what it actually, if you read what ICP is, it helps keep your colon clean with an advanced mix of fibers that actually scour out residue. So you would start again. It says on the bottle, take 2 teaspoons. You may not want to take that much at first. You may want to start out with a ½ teaspoon, then move up. But you don't want to constipate yourself with it, so you've got to be drinking a lot of water. And you want it to be scouring out the colon, and from the other 2 things you've already started with, the Comfort Tone, the essential enzyme, those are loosening things so that the ICP can then take it away. Okay, so actually when I first started Young Living, I got my oils, and the very next month I jumped into the cleansing trio, and I really loved it because it helped me to cleanse from the standard American diet that I had been so used to. And it helps with your cravings. What they say is, okay, should I change my diet when I'm doing the cleansing trio? Don't think that you have to. If that's an area you struggle, don't think, oh, I've got to clean up my diet perfectly before I start this. Although it will work better if you're eating fruits and vegetables all day. What also can happen is if you're not and you add this in, it can help with those cravings so that then you will start craving the right foods. So it's a good place to start. The next thing after a colon cleanse that you're going to want to look into is once you're going to the bathroom regularly, it would be a great time to use Parafree. Like I mentioned earlier, this is something that we kind of scrunch our face at and don't want to realize, but there are things that affect us even microscopically that can be hurting our bodies, and Parafree is something that you would want to add in. There, you know, to be compliant today, I hope you know what that thing is by the word Parafree. But what I love about when I know what a supplement is for, I can come over here. Maybe I don't have Parafree at my house, but maybe I have clove, thyme, ocotea, ginger. This over here, these oils listed, this supplement is telling me, giving me a hint at what all of these oils are good for over here. What is an oil that I would say that if I had, I could be using? Digest. Okay. Mom can, at the end of class, Mom is going to share a story about Digest with us all. But one thing I wanted to mention about Parafree, if you have pets, you're working with animals a lot, if you go camping regularly, if you swim in a lake a lot, you need to do Parafree, okay? What it suggests is that you take it for 21 days. That is, you have to do that. If that ensures that everything has been taken care of in that 21-day cycle. And then what it says is then you're going to rest for 7 days and then do the 21 days again. Now, it's something that you can take by mouth, but a lot of people say that the oils are strong and they burp the oils, and it's uncomfortable to them. And so what I tell them is that actually when Parafree first came out, it was something that was actually used instead of by mouth, used rectally. That is the closest you're going to get to what this product is for anyways. So personally, I have used it that way, and I've used it with my daughter Bella that way because we had a need and had to. And it is, the soft gel is very soft. It can go in rectally very easily with a little coconut oil, and we would do it at night before bed, and then it would just dissolve while we were sleeping. It was not irritating. It was not, you know, it didn't hurt or anything. And so that is another way you can use it if you do not want to take it orally. And you can even make your own suppositories. I don't know if you guys can see the picture on the screen with the cup and the coconut oil and the aluminum foil, but can you guys see that? Can everybody see that? Okay, because my videos are kind of covering it. But you can just get some aluminum foil, wrap a pencil to make a little groove in your aluminum foil, mix some oils, that the oil you would like to use, something for internal use, one of your vitality oils, mix with a little coconut oil when it's at room temperature, or, you know, heat it just a little if it's in that cold, hard stage. Not cook it, but just warm it up, and then pour it in that groove, put it in the refrigerator, and it's going to get hard, and then you can cut it in little pieces. And then I keep those pieces in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. And from the time my kids were very small, this was a way that I used oils with them when they needed support. Especially they're in diapers, it's no mess and it's easy. So just think about it. Don't push it aside just because you think it's a little weird. It can be very, very beneficial, because the fastest way to get oils in your system is through under your tongue or rectally. So let's move on to a probiotic. Once you've done all the hard work to cleaning and cleansing your body, you're going to want to get good bacteria in your body to be your fighters. And so I recommend Young Living's Life 9, along with drinking your apple cider vinegar, upping your fermented foods like your kombuchas or your kefirs and your yogurts that are not the yogurt on the shelf that's full of sugars. the plain, get you a nice organic plain yogurt and add some fruit in it, okay? But the Life 9, what's good about it is that it is a delayed release capsule. So it is made where it actually does not open up and dissolve in your stomach, but actually goes through and waits till it gets into the intestinal tract, into that colon area, to open up where you need those probiotics the most. A lot of probiotics open in the stomach, and then the acidity of the stomach can kind of negate, and they can't even get where they need to be. So look into Life 9. It's incredible, and it's one of the things that got me back on track with my Young Living story and how I got started and loving the oils. So that's a lot about the colon. And the one thing that I want to make sure that you understand is you may go online and read that you need to do a cleanse, you need to do a liver cleanse, you need to do a kidney cleanse, but you have to do a colon cleanse first. If you're not eliminating 2 to 3 times a day, you do not want to go in and do a liver cleanse, because you will have adverse effects, because the toxins that leave the liver will then just be still in the body without a place to eliminate properly. And an example of this is whenever I first started drinking kombucha. If you haven't heard of that, it's like a fermented tea, a really high probiotic drink that's really good for you. And I started drinking that. I had read some articles online and thought, oh, this is good, I'm going to get this. And you may have seen it at the health food store, but it comes in, I don't know, like a 16-ounce bottle or something. And I started drinking 1/3 of a bottle a day when I first started with kombucha, and I got a rash on my leg that was like poison ivy. And I got online and started reading about it, and it was actually that kombucha was detoxing and my liver, okay, which was a good thing, but I had to back off. I had to slow down and go to a smaller amount. I actually stayed off of it for a little while, and then I went in and I just did maybe like 2 to 3 tablespoons a day for a little while. And so sometimes we can detox and it makes us want to quit what we're doing, but what you're doing is good. Just make sure you're doing it in the right order so that you're more comfortable, okay? It's normal to be a little achy. It's normal to get a headache. It's normal to get your nose start running. Don't give up because of that, because the detox, you're going to feel better on the other end of it. So let's talk about the liver just a little bit. After you're using the bathroom regularly and you're starting your liver cleanse, I read about, I'm going to read you something about the liver that I found, but I could not memorize all of this. But it says, out of the hundreds of functions your liver performs, ensuring toxins are safely removed from your blood is one of its most critical jobs. Toxins enter your body when you're exposed to harmful substances like pesticides, but they also result from normal digestion. For example, when your body digests protein, ammonia is released and your liver converts it into the less toxic substance called urea that is eliminated through your urine. Any waste your liver cannot use are converted and either carried out by bile, which is why we need to stimulate that bile, into your small intestine, or carried by the blood to your kidneys. Your liver detoxifies harmful substances in 2 steps. The first step uses enzymes and oxygen to burn toxins, especially fatty ones. And the second detox step partially processed toxins with amino acids or a sulfur so they can be removed. So I heard 2 things that were really beneficial. One was enzymes and the other was sulfur or amino acids. So if you look at this chart up here, it talks about different toxins that enter our body, like insecticides, pesticides, but it could be things that are in our food. It could be prescription drugs that we're taking. All of our body sees all of that as toxins because they're man-made. they're synthetic, and our liver has to work hard. And if we don't have the required nutrients like you see in this list, our liver cannot detoxify properly, and they just keep circling in our body, or they store in our fat. And so I'm going to give you just a couple of supplements that are really good in helping support that detoxing liver. But also, just before I don't want to jump too far ahead, anti-inflammatory diet is incredibly good, like eating things like garlic and grapefruit, beets, carrots, your green leafy vegetables, avocados. If we eat what God gave us, our body is going to work properly. Always choose your organic crops, your grass-fed beef and things like that, because those are going to be not been fed the genetically modified foods. And also, I thought this was really amazing in my research. It said reduce your stress. This is for your liver health. Reduce your stress and practice forgiveness. And a lot of times we don't want to realize it, but our emotions and the things we hold on to can be harmful to our bodies working properly. So what's the opposite of forgiveness? Think of that, and that can be affecting your liver. So the liver has over 500 functions, which include breaking down hormones, regulating blood sugar, regulating cholesterol, manufacturing bile. So sometimes we need a little help. So let's look at Juvatone. Anytime you see the word Juva in a Young Living product, it's going to help support proper liver function. And so we see things that are in this Juvatone blend, like beetroot. We just talked about how beets can be very beneficial. Dandelion, right here, dandelion root. That's going to support that healthy bile flow. And so, again, like we talked about with the Comfort Tone, Gary Young and Young Living, they don't make a product for profit. They make it for a purpose. And we know that everything that's in Juvatone is going to support our liver. So I encourage you to get out your resource books, because they will break down each and every one of these ingredients you see here and go even more in depth than I can of how this exactly is supporting your liver. But let's look at these oils. Do you have lemon? Do you have geranium, rosemary? Rosemary is one of the oils that's in your thieves. That says myrtle there. So you may have some oils that are supportive of the liver already at home that you could look into using. There are 2 oils. These are not a supplement. This is an oil that I wanted to talk about. This is not all of the liver supporting things, but just the ones that I wanted to mention today. Juva Cleanse, that contains helichrysum, celery seed, and ledum. When I look at those 3 ingredients there to buy separately, just honestly, I think, wow, pricey, because those are very significant oils that have all been put together. And Juva Cleanse has been put together specifically to support the liver. Juva Flex, on the other hand, you can get that one in not only individually, but in the Golden Touch kit. That one comes. It has a wonderful smell and a wonderful blue color. But Juva Flex, its blend is specific to not only liver, but also lymphatic, which we talked about earlier, that's always pumping toxins. So how would I use these oils? Well, these are Vitality, so you could take these in a capsule, okay? Also, if you had Juva Cleanse or Juva Flex, you could apply over your liver, just right over your liver. Or you could find the liver or the kidney points on the reflexology chart on the bottom of the feet, and you could rub every day in that area if you're trying to support that. Maybe I put, a drop in the morning and drop at night, but be consistent, be faithful to use it for a period of time to give yourself time to see results. Also, it's a great oil, either of these, to add into the raindrop technique, which is also could a class in and of itself, but something that is helping with detoxing your body. So that is all about the liver. Remember, make sure you start with colon, then move into liver after. And then before I'm gonna go just have some open answer question time for you guys and share some books. But before I do that, my mom's gonna give a quick testimony.
Okay, welcome everybody today. Glad to see you all on this. This is a wonderful way to be able to communicate with one another with Danielle so far away. And she wanted me to share just a little bit about detoxing emotionally. And I've gone through a lot the last year and a half. I was in a very stressful job, and I had to finally leave the job. And when I got home, I felt like through prayer and research that God was showing me that he said to me that I could have handled the job had I been healed emotionally. I didn't realize maybe how emotionally, well, I'll just say toxic I was until then. As I began to research in the oils through prayer, the Lord showed me that I needed to use the oils. And Danielle happened to have the Freedom Sleep Kit on hand, and so I started using it. And also through that process, I was using the raindrop on my feet every day, sometimes every day for like 5 days a week. So my body was detoxing, but when I added the Freedom Sleep and the Freedom Release Kit to the other oils I was using, I began to have flashbacks that were pretty traumatic from over 40 years ago, almost 45 years ago. I had to deal with some things, and so I kind of slowed down on the oils when all that started happening. And in the course of all that too, I had gotten off a medication that had kind of helped me deal with life, and I didn't realize. Of course, at that point, that medicine I was taking, I was doing fine. But when I got off of it, a lot of the things that it was suppressing resurfaced. And so it left me with a very heaviness on especially one side of my head. I thought I had damage from the medication, but over the course of time, I again started using the emotional release oils, the Freedom Release and the Freedom Sleep. I started using that again. And I used it right before Christmas. I used it about a month. And I was very faithful to use them morning and night. And I had a very interesting thing to happen to me. Just like when you start using the supplements to detox your body, you may have adverse things happen, but you have to press through those so that your body can readjust and reset itself back to what it should be. And so what happened was I had used the oils for a month, and I got up the Monday before Christmas, and I just felt in my heart the Lord say, stop the oils, because my body had begun to go into unusual things began to happen. And so as the week projected, I felt sicker, kind of a sickness over me. By Friday, when I got up, my husband wanted to take me to the emergency room. Both of my legs felt like they weighed 10 tons. I had a real bad pressure in my chest. I had a sense of depression that was like a black cloud over me. I couldn't even hardly stand up straight, and which I knew in my heart, I just said, I understand why people would do things adversely to themselves if that's what depression felt like. And it lasted Friday. It eased up on Saturday. And by Sunday, it was gone. But on Sunday, there was Christmas Day. We went to church. We grabbed a bite to eat and came home, and I slept for about 12 to 18 hours in an intense, deep, deep sleep where I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was almost as if my body was repairing itself. And so I just say that to say, even to not be afraid of it, but since then, it's almost as if I feel reborn. That heaviness that had been there for so long is gone. And every morning I wake up, it's like I feel a freshness, a newness, something I haven't experienced in a long, long time. Almost like the oil, inner child. When you think of an inner child, you think of a playful child that's out playing and feeling freedom. And that's how I feel today. And it has just increased and increased and increased. And so I will attest today to the ability of the oils, bringing that up to detoxify your emotions. Now, I believe God's in all of it, and he helped me through it.
The main thing I wanted to share about that too is that, you know, when the oils can help you.
Oh, it's gotten hot.
If you have something happen like that where it brings a flashback, then it is vital that you deal with that, you know, you have that flashback or whatever happens, and you have, their mom had to take steps to repair the relationships or whatever that she had happen in that. And so that's part of the healing process. We want to just thank you for joining